Welcome back to another edition of Catching Up. My name is John Barry, Sports Communications Director at Whitman College. Today we have former Whitman swimmer Kincaid Hoffman and the current Vice President of the W Club, our athletics fundraising arm. Kincaid, how's it going?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me today, John.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to our conversation here. So just as notable as Kincaid's former and current involvement here in athletics, um, is his participation in the Pinhoti 100, which is a 100-mile ultra marathon in Alabama. Let me first ask you, is ultra marathon kind of the generic term for it? Or
Yeah, ultra marathon is anything longer than the traditional 26.2 mile marathon. So ultra
okay,
marathons could be 40 miles, 50 miles, or 100 miles or
okay,
longer.
perfect, perfect. So before we get into the specifics of your experience, just talk about this event, maybe in the trail and just ultra marathons in general.
Yeah, happy to. So this was a 100-mile trail race, and it was on trail, specifically single track. And single track means kind of that traditional hiking trail that you'd think about. If you're going out for a hike, the race was on what you typically hike on. It was 100 miles, like we've said, and it had about 16,000 feet of climbing in it and about 16,500 feet of descent. It was a point to point race. So you started in Heflin, Alabama, and ran 100 miles through the Pinhoti Wilderness down to Sylacauga, Alabama. I think the winner did the race in around 18 hours. I was somewhere near 29 and a half hours. So if that gives you any perspective, it was beautiful. It crossed the highest point in Alabama, and it was just a beautiful course, wonderful energy, great volunteers, great racers, competitors. It was an absolute blast.
Oh, I was a former athlete myself, and I like to think back in my day I was in pretty good shape, in the peak of my powers, if you want to call it that. But no way I could imagine participating in an ultra marathon. Talk about your training regimen and just preparing for a grueling event.
Yeah, I put in about 6 months worth of training for this particular race. It was a mixture of obviously a lot of running, high mileage, and mileage increasing every week over the course of those 6 months. And then mixed in a fair amount of strength training just to stay injury free, to stay balanced and healthy. What was interesting about the training program and what I found particularly cool is the earmark of the program that I did culminated with long runs on Fridays and or Saturdays and Sundays typically. So that back to back long run experience. And I think it peaked at, I think I had a weekend where it was 30 miles on Saturday, 20 miles on Sunday, plus another like 30 miles throughout the week. So that was the high mileage, the high water mark. And then there was a taper from that down into race day. But the training was a lot of running and plenty of strength training to, again, prevent injury, kind of stay balanced throughout the course of the 6 month workup.
This is last month, right? Was it in November?
It was, yeah, November 4th and 5th.
Wow, wow. Was your first one?
It was my first ultra marathon.
Wow.
It was a
What
challenge.
got you interested in it?
You know, I guess I moved down to Southern California a few years ago, and the weather out here is phenomenal. So you can really be outside training, being active year round without rain, snow, anything like that getting in your way. And last year, I checked an item off my bucket list, which was to finish an Ironman triathlon, which was an incredible, incredible race. This year, I was looking to do a second Ironman, but schedules and training didn't line up. So I had to look for an alternative. And I thought, let's take it up a notch. Let's try something different. Um,
No
and
Ironmans, but let's try this ultra marathon. Let's run this
yeah,
100 miles. So,
yeah. So that kind of that interest in the endurance race spun out of the Ironman and dovetailed into the 100-mile ultra marathon this year, which again, ton of fun, great experience.
I did a little bit of research before we jumped on here, and I read several things online. Quick Google search, so got to take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I think one was from Wikipedia. So, but I did want to run by you. see if there's any truth to them. So, um, I read that a lot of runners don't even sleep. Is that true?
That's true. It was 29 for me. It was 29 hours, go, 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 no rest, no, certainly no sleep. I sat down a handful of times over the course of the 29 hours just to give my legs a little bit of a break. But for the most part, you're just on your feet, moving for the whole experience.
All right. The other thing I saw is that runners drink soda during the race. Is that true?
I did have in total probably 24 ounces worth of Coke towards the end of the race just to settle the stomach, get some simple carbs, simple sugars in the body, a little bit of caffeine, and then a few calories to just kind of keep moving. So, yes, that is absolutely part of the nutrition
Wow.
plan for a lot of endurance athletes. The nutrition on course was one of the more interesting and kind of fun parts of the whole experience because obviously you're burning a lot of calories, so you're trying to replenish those as the race goes. So for me, I had a plan in place. I was going to do, 300 calories an hour, 20 ounces of fluid an hour, try and do about 500 milligrams of sodium an hour. And I had, a carbohydrate drink mix, and I had peanut butter and jellies, and I had this all laid out. And I'd say about 30 miles into the race, that kind of went out the window, and it was just whatever looked good. As you ran through the aid stations, they had huge buffets lined up, anything you could
Oh,
imagine. And I just started going for whatever looked good. And I had everything. I had a homemade banana cream pudding that was phenomenal. I did grilled cheese, bacon, tacos, just whatever I could get and whatever I could keep down. That was part of the experience and part of the fun.
these were how often along the course? These were
Every
the aid
5 to
stations.
8 miles, the aid stations were
Uh,
placed, which was timing wise really nice.
sounds like they're kind of in remote areas. They set up shop there and
They really do. They roll in generators, big tents.
wow.
They all
Wow.
had different themes. So there was, a holiday themed aid station. There was
Huh.
an alien themed aid station. It was quite a combo.
Wow, quite an event. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, thanks a lot, Kincaid, for coming on. This was really interesting. I was really looking forward to hearing about it and the nutrition and getting those facts validated. I thought those were fascinating. I also want to put in a little plug for the W Club. There is a landing page on our website, and you can go there, learn more about how to donate. I thought I'd just ask you, can you give a quick insight on what the W Club is and who it supports?
Absolutely. The W Club is, like you mentioned at the start, kind of the fundraising assistant to the athletic department. So we're a group of passionate alumni, parents, volunteers who want to give back, who want to enhance the student athlete experience at Whitman. We do that through helping with different fundraising initiatives. We do that by being spokespeople for the athletic department. And we love to engage with student athletes and the broader campus as a whole.
Yeah, again, athletics.whitman.edu, and you can find the landing page there and how to donate and much more information. So thanks again, Kincaid, and we'll see you down the road. All right.
Thanks, John. Go Blues.